Hello everyone, welcome to Wellness Munch. Today the topic for discussion is Parkinson's and Indian diet. So how using an Indian diet, a traditional Indian one, you can actually support Parkinson's patient at home. Now one thing, let's get very clear, it is a progressive disorder, right? And it is more than just a tremor. If you are, if you are dealing with any Parkinson's patient at present at home, you know what I mean, right? Every small work, it seems to be very difficult for them to finish. They become very slow, the muscles are stiff, they cannot walk properly, they cannot do any work, they cannot even chew or eat food. They have speech problem, they cannot talk loud, half of the time there is no expression, right? They are prone to frequent fall. So it in a short, life is literally mess. Why am I putting this video up right now? Because I do have a personal experience of handling a Parkinson's patient. I know, being a nutritionist, diabetes or hypertension or PCOD, these are the area of, booming area. Hardly people talk about Parkinson's and all this thing. Let me be very honest, since I do have a personal experience and I'm facing this on a daily basis, I thought I must put up whatever knowledge I have gathered and how I am actually managing the patient at home. So here is the video. If you are actually struggling with this disease to cope up with, I guess this diet guide will going to be helpful. Okay, so let's get started. First thing first, any diet or no diet in this world can actually reverse the Parkinson's progression. Okay, so take it very, very seriously. But still, why we are talking about the diet? That is important because you need to provide a diet to that patient so that the normal well-being is maintained. Okay, a Parkinson patient need exactly the amount of calorie and the nutrients like any normal patient as per their height and weight. Okay, number two, the second main reason to get a diet guide is to provide food which actually give dopamine naturally. You must be aware that the Parkinson's patient, there is a deficiency of dopamine. Dopamine, an important neurotransmitter, which is actually helpful for learning, for cognition, for memory, for mood, etc. Right? And now that neurotransmitter is deficient in a Parkinson's body. So that's why what happened, we have to provide some food which actually provide or form dopamine in the body and which create dopamine naturally. Thirdly, there are many symptoms, there are many side effects of Parkinson's like constipation, chewing problem, eating problem, lethargy, tiredness, right? Hypotension at times. So to cater all these difficulties, we need a good diet, right? So these are the main reason to follow a good diet, good Indian diet for a Parkinson's patient. Now, when we are talking about diet, we have to see three things. Number one, it's about the quality of diet, what kind of food you are giving. Number two, the quantity, how much food you are giving, and the frequency, how many times the food should be given. And fourthly, the eating technique or the feeding technique. Okay, that is also very, very important because for Parkinson's patient, eating or feeding both are a challenge. Okay, so let's take one by one. Let's start with the quality of food. Okay, what kind of food you should be giving? Of course, you will not give any food which are empty calorie. Okay, because you are getting very less chance to feed the patient, right? So you have to utilize that opportunity to the fullest. Okay, so talking about carbohydrate, they need 60% their daily food should be carbohydrate, and the 60% of the daily calorie should come from carbohydrate kind of food. Now if that is very technical for you, let me tell you, the carbohydrate means the rice or the rice products like murmura, churwa, or popped rice, all that thing. Wheat or wheat product like atta or dalia, suji, noodles, pasta, everything comes under wheat products. Corn and corn products like popcorn, boiled corn, these things. quinoa, millet, everything comes under. These are all carbohydrates, okay? Mainly carbohydrate rich food. These are all cereal. You need to provide cereal in ample amount. Now, what does that mean? Give 3 to 4 times cereals in the keep 3 times cereals for the patient's diet. For example, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, add some kind of cereal in the diet. That is going to be very helpful. If possible, add cereal in the evening snack also. Okay. Next thing comes the protein. How much of protein? Definitely not a very high protein diet. A Parkinson's patient need normal protein. So what does that mean? What is the normal protein for a person? Generally 2 katori of dal, 1 to 2 glass of milk in the form of curd or chena or homemade paneer or normal milk, whatever suits that patient is fine. Apart from pulses and milk products, if the person is non-vegetarian, feel free to give egg, fish, chicken, all that lean kind of protein. These are good for a person to have on a daily basis. Now, how much of fish and egg? One egg is fine, and for fish and chicken, a medium size of fish or 3 to 4 pieces of chicken on a daily basis should be fine. But make sure the variety is there. That means one day dal, one day lunch for dal for the lunch and evening fish or something like that. So keep variety. Do not bank on any particular type of food for every day. Okay, that is going to be monotonous for all of us. Plus, the nutritional benefits will also be better if the variety is there in the diet. Okay, so make sure that. Now, for Parkinson's patient, what is most important is the ratio of cereal and pulse. What does that mean? That means the cereals and the cereal and the protein, or the carbohydrate and the protein ratio should be 7:1 or 5:1. What does that mean? That means you have to take 7 parts of carbohydrate and 1 parts of protein. In layman's language, that means you have to eat more and more cereal and less amount of protein in each meal. That doesn't mean actually that you will have less protein. You will have the entire amount of protein that your body need, but you will split the protein into small portions, and you will include that protein along with some carbohydrate in every meal. That means for example, for breakfast, if you are having some poha, along that poha you have an egg. Then in the lunch time, if you're having rice, you have a little bit of dal with that. Rice is more, dal is less. Okay, and for example, for evening snack, if you're having boiled chana, have it with murmura or churwa. Then again, in the dinner, if you're having paneer, have it with roti or rice. So that's how we balance carbohydrate and protein in each meal, and make sure carbohydrate is in greater amount, protein is a little bit on a lesser side. The ratio is again how much? 7:1 or 5:1. That's the ratio. Now, why suddenly 7:1 or 5:1? Because this is the best ratio, so that the medicine which Parkinson's patients generally take, the levodopa, that can actually act on this ratio of carbohydrate and protein. Yes, there is a huge role of diet with levodopa's activity. The medicine won't be actually more and more effective if the diet is wrong, or if the medicine is being taken with the diet. Okay, the thumb rule. Remember, the thumb rule for taking levodopa is either give this medicine to the patient 30 minutes before any meal or in between 2 meals. Definitely not with the meal. Generally what we do, we finish the lunch and immediately we give the medicine. Please don't do that, because that is going to be difficult and the medicine will not be that effective. Why? I don't want to tell all the technicalities here. Let me do one thing. I'll just put that there's a blog of us which we have written in detail. I'll put that link in the description section. If you want to know why, please feel free to check that out. Okay. All right. Now coming back to diet, quality of diet, right? So far we have discussed the carbohydrate and protein. Now let's discuss about the fat. Now what kind of fat you need? You need good fat, right? What is good fat? Good fat is, not the refined oil for sure. Refined oil which are available in the market at the rate of 70, 80, 90, those actually are very inflammation friendly food. Okay, so basically refined oil actually create inflammation in our body if used for a longer time. So what kind of oil one must use? Either go for kachi ghani mustard oil or cold pressed oil if you can afford, or double filtered oil, double filtered groundnut oil, peanut oil, sesame oil, these are fine, or cold pressed coconut oil if you are down from the south, right? So these are the oil choices that you can use for regular cooking. Apart from that, feel free to choose good quality ghee, homemade butter. These are all very good good choices for fat. Now, apart from this, for Parkinson's patient, what is important is omega-3 fatty acid. Okay, omega-3 fatty acid, that is very essential for this kind of patient. Now, to supply that, how you can do that? If you're a non-vegetarian, make sure fish is an integral part of your daily diet, because fish is a very good source for omega-3. If not, then no issue. You can add a tablespoon of flaxseed in daily diet, or a handful of walnut. I repeat, a tablespoon of flaxseed and a handful of walnut in daily diet. This is a great source for omega-3 fatty acid. Not very difficult, very simple. You just have to add it in the diet somehow. How? I might give you some idea later on this video, so stick to it. All right. After fat, now what kind of bad fat? Of course, do not try to give saturated fat or like dalda or something, or refined oil, as I've already mentioned. So please avoid this kind of fat. Now after carbohydrate, protein and fat, now comes vitamins and minerals. Every types of vitamins and minerals are very important for this patient. To start with, all that antioxidants like vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, all these are very important, because they are going to actually keep your body clean from free radicals. What are free radicals? You cannot prevent them. They are going to form in your body because of the metabolism. Our metabolism will take place and free radicals will generate. But these vitamins will help to block that free radicals and prevent them to kill normal good cells. Okay, so antioxidant vitamins are very essential. So how you can ensure that you are having them all? Just add orange and green colored vegetables and fruits in your diet. What do we mean by that? Like, you include pumpkin, mango, carrot, then all the green leafy vegetables in the diet. Try to keep the color in the every meal that you are serving to the patient. Apart from that, feel free to add 2 types of fruits every day, among which one fruit should be citric, like it could be lemon, it could be orange, it could be Mossambi, kind of that, and the other fruit should be something seasonal. It can be banana, it can be watermelon or pineapple or papaya or any kind of that, okay? Any kind of normal Indian food for that matter. Guava again is a very good choice if the patient is able to eat. So these are about the vitamins. Now similarly, minerals. Now the easiest way to provide all the nutrients is very simple. Don't forget to add 2 katori of dal. Don't forget a glass of milk and milk product, egg, chicken, fish if you're a non-vegetarian, or a handful of nuts and seeds. Remember, a handful of nuts and seeds every day in the diet. If you're doing it all, you are getting all kind of all kind of vitamins and minerals automatically in your diet. Okay. So these were about the quality of diet. Now, apart from this, very important is water. Generally, these patients are very prone to get dehydrated. So make sure you give them water in every small interval. 3 liters of water is again needed for them as well. So another smartest way to add a lot of water in the diet is give fruit juice or give vegetable juice in between 2 meals. But when I'm talking about fruit juice and vegetable juice, I mean homemade freshly prepared vegetable juice and fruit juice. This will provide them the required amount of vitamins and minerals as well as water. So try this is going to be a game changer, trust me. So apart from this quality of diet, so obviously things are very simple, not at all complicated, right? So apart from these things, there are some special foods which you must add in the diet. As I have mentioned at the beginning of the video, that you need few foods which are actually going to produce dopamine in the body naturally. So how you can do that? Add probiotics. Now what does that mean, probiotic? That means you add any fermented food in the diet, which are going to be helpful for your gut bacteria. And if the gut bacteria are good, like good gut bacteria and good gut health is maintained, it will help to produce dopamine. Okay, so what are the probiotic you can use? As simple as that, add curd or buttermilk. If you're from north, you can use kanji. If you're from West India, East India, or southern part of India, fermented rice is again in your tradition. So feel free to add that in your diet. Okay, so these are the fermented food are going to be very, very effective for these patients. So probiotic is must. Apart from that, green tea, black tea or black coffee. Okay, mild, not very kadak one. A mild one of black tea or green tea or black coffee is also found to be very effective. But of course, we have to see what are the other disease or conditions of that patient. Okay, based on that, you can decide on this. So in between two meals, not with the meal, of course. In between 2 meals, you can give a small cup of green tea or black tea or black coffee for that matter. Beside this, there is another very important food which is extremely important for Parkinson's patient, which is velvet beans. If you are hearing me, hearing this name for the first time, don't be, very surprised. This is very much available online. Velvet beans, okay, it's a white powdered, a bean powder basically. We call it conch ka beej in Hindi. Okay, you can search it out. You can get it online very easily. Get one packet and start adding 1 teaspoon of this seed powder with any of the bowl of meal. Okay, once a day, 1 teaspoon. Start with a teaspoon, you can extend it up to 1 tablespoon. Okay, so get this powder and try adding this, especially in the breakfast or with the snack or wherever you get actually chance. Okay, this velvet bean powder or conch ki beej ka jo powder hai, that is going to be very, very helpful for this kind of patient, for Parkinson's patient basically. So these are the quick food which are extremely helpful for the patient. Now apart from this, yes, of course, banana. Okay, most easy, most simple, but banana, try to give banana every single day, because banana contains good amount of magnesium, and magnesium is something which is very, very important to produce dopamine. Okay, so you make sure there is a steady supply of magnesium as well. Green leafy vegetables, again for that same matter, green leafy vegetables are also very important. Make sure green is there, some kind of green is there in the diet on a daily basis. Okay, so these are the food which are going to be extremely helpful to improve the dopamine level naturally. Now again, a very important tip, do not forget to to keep a distance with the medicine. Okay, do not give this food along with the levodopa medicine. If you're giving medicine along with this food, levodopa activity is going to get diminished. So make sure, I repeat again, do not give levodopa with any food either 30 minutes before food or in between two meals. Okay, that's very, very important. Now after that, what is the quantity of food? How much of food you can actually give? Now that depends on the age, the weight and the height of the person, right? Now generally the amount of food the person was eating, try to keep that amount, intact. Though it will be very, very difficult at times, I know. Now, how about the frequency? Frequency, see, there are two schools of thought. One school of thought is saying restrictive diet is very, very effective for Parkinson's patient, which means intermittent fasting. I'm sure you must have heard of intermittent fasting. Basically 14 to 16 hours of intermittent fast proved to be very helpful for Parkinson's. Now, the concern is you can try that definitely, and you can squeeze the eating window up to 8 hours, and within that 8 hours you can give a breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm not very sure whether you will get any time to provide a evening snack in between, like a normal snack in between these 8 hours or not. If the patient is walking and doing his work on his own, like in the first or second stage of Parkinson's, feel free to try intermittent fasting. But if the patient have diabetes or hypertension, please do it only after consulting your doctor and dietitian, a qualified dietitian. Okay. Now, if the patient is third stage or fourth stage or fifth stage, you cannot try intermittent fasting. Why? Because in this time there are many complications or many symptoms has already started arriving. For example, sleep attack. Suddenly you find the patient is sleeping, very deep, sleeping in deep actually. So you cannot really maintain any eating window. So in that case, try small frequent meal. Okay, give small amount of food throughout the day, because ultimately at the end of the day, maintaining the total calorie and giving the entire nutritious food is something which is important, right? You cannot let that go. So choose your intermittent fasting or small frequent meal as per the case. This is very, very case specific. Okay, so once after this frequency, so we have already covered the quality, the quantity and the frequency of food. Now let's talk about feeding technique. If you are aware, I'm not sure whether you are not, but generally in stage 1 or stage 2 of the, first of all, Parkinson's have 5 stages. Okay, so for the first and second stage, what happened? The patient can eat on his own. They might be very slow, but they can eat on their own. Now generally what happened in this time, number one, they become slow as I've mentioned. Secondly, they forget the order. Okay, so generally we Indians follow a order to eat a food, right? So first, suppose for example, you're eating with dal, then you're going for a vegetable, then you're eating with dahi, right? But for this kind of patient, they miss the order. They get very confused what to eat with what, and they mix up, they end up mixing up food together. So to prevent that, or honestly speaking, seeing this thing happening in front of you is going to be very, very difficult, especially if your near and dear one or your parents or whoever it is, those who have actually taught you how to eat, if they are making mistakes, it's heartbreaking. So to avoid this, what you can do, try to introduce smaller number of food, less number of food one by one. So basically give dal and rice, or just giving an example, immediately you give 1 or 2 food at a time, let them finish it off, and then introduce the third one. Okay, do not give all the foods together, because then they will end up messing it up. So this is for the stage 1 and stage 2. Now stage 3 onward, what happened? They become so slow, and then at that time, they become so tired. They are slow. They become very, very tired to eat, and then they end up not eating. So to prevent that, give assistance. Okay, start feeding them. That is very, very essential. Start feeding them, and they will be, then in that case, at least they will be able to eat. Now this is the time when they might develop problem with swallowing and eating. So in this case, what happened, choking is a very common phenomena this time. Okay, and you might see many other problems as well. So to avoid this, what happened, you have to make very energy dense meal. Each meal should be very energy and nutrient dense. How you can do that? Suppose you are giving lunch, put rice, dal, vegetables, softly cooked vegetables, and add a spoonful of ghee on top. The energy value of that meal instantly increase. If you are giving any porridge for the breakfast, suppose you are giving oats and milk, oats, milk, banana, add a spoonful of dry fruits powder, add a spoonful of velvet beans powder, okay, so that immediately the nutritional value of that meal and the calorie value of that meal increases. Okay, so this is the trick you must try. Again, another thing, consistency is very important, because they might not be able to chew properly. So try to give food which are easily eatable, basically soft in texture, maybe semi-solid in consistency. These are the things which they can eat actually better. If you are giving them very hard food like drumstick, okay, or if you give them a fish with bone, it will be very, very difficult for them to eat, right? You don't need to give any challenge to them, rather you want them to make their life easy, correct? So try think before you give any food. It might be great for the health, but just think whether they can eat it in that form or not. So make that twist as per the requirement, okay? So this is going to be very, very essential. Now apart from this, generally these patients suffer a lot with constipation, okay? So make sure that there are enough amount of fiber, especially insoluble fiber, in the diet. Now, what is insoluble fiber? Generally the skin, the outer layer of the food contains insoluble fiber, and the inner part of the food, like the pulp, okay, that portion contains soluble fiber. Now you need both for this kind of patients. So if you are giving 2 fruits a day, if you are giving ample amount of vegetables, including green leafy and orange colored and red colored vegetables like tomato, beetroot, carrot, pumpkin, all that thing, and green leafy vegetables like spinach and methi and other kind of greens, then you are already sorted from the fiber perspective, right? Instead of giving white rice, try single polished rice, because brown rice they may not be able to digest. Maybe brown rice is going to be very difficult for them, for their system to digest. So single polished rice is something where you can strike a balance of between the fiber as well as the nutrients, right? So take constipation also very seriously. Make sure the patient is drinking a lot of water. Now, after all that, is diet is enough? No, it is not. So what else you can do for them? Play music. Okay, music has a very, very good role for secretion of dopamine at times. So try that. Exercise, even if the person is not being able to move their hand and feet, especially that happen when the patient is in 4th or 5th stage of Parkinson's. It's a struggle because the muscles are so stiff that they cannot actually move their hands and feet. Make sure they do certain exercise. Physiotherapy is important. If you're keeping any attendant, please ask them to get some time to do certain kind of exercises. That is going to be very helpful. Apart from that, as I have mentioned already before, please make sure that the person get at least 20 to 30 minutes of sun exposure every single day. Vitamin D again is very important for dopamine secretion. Plus the bones has to be little strong, because these patients are very, very prone to frequent fall, right? So make sure you take all these things under consideration. All right, so if you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video with your other friends. We will be coming back again soon with another video, with another topic, which is going to be helpful again for all of you guys. Okay, till then, stay happily healthy. Bye.